It's very, very sad and unfortunate what has happened to Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham, let's be clear here. Sophie Cunningham was targeted. Let's be very, very clear here.
Let's get straight into it, because this whole situation with Sophie Cunningham has fans absolutely losing their minds. And honestly, after watching what went down, can you blame them? Sophie wasn't just fouled. She wasn't just hit hard. She was targeted by Bria Hartley, a player with a long rap sheet of cheap shots, dirty fouls, and reckless plays that have nothing to do with basketball. The footage shows Cunningham on the floor in tears, clutching her leg, while fans immediately knew something was seriously wrong.
Today's game where Sophie Cunningham went out in the first half. And that was such a huge blow for the Indiana Fever because Sophie Cunningham has been somebody, she has been the glue of this team since Caitlin has been out. She is playing so incredibly well during the second half of this season. She plays hard every single night. She's super tough. She doesn't make excuses. Like, she is somebody who has really held this team together, and seeing her go down in the first half, like, I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what it was.
As you can see in the replay, Bria Hartley is going baseline with Kelsey Mitchell guarding her. Then, Sophie comes over to help defend. That's when Hartley crashes down on her leg, and Sophie immediately grabs her shin area. At first, people thought it might be another ankle injury, since Sophie has battled those all season, playing through pain every single night. But this was different. This was a torn MCL that would end her season and require surgery. And fans are demanding that she stop playing nice and drag the WNBA into court.
Oh, and Cunningham is down. My goodness.
This isn't paranoia. It's a documented pattern. Bria Hartley pulled Angel Reese down by the hair. She dragged Rebecca Allen to the floor by her head, forcing Ariel Atkins to literally run in to prevent things from getting worse. And now Sophie Cunningham becomes another victim in Hartley's greatest hits tour of dirty basketball. Same script, different casualty.
Speed. So as you can see here, Bria Hartley is going baseline. Kelsey Mitchell is guarding her, and then Sophie comes over to help. And then Bria Hartley falls on her leg, and Sophie immediately grabs like her shin area. And I remember when I first saw this replay, at first I was like, oh my gosh, did she roll her ankle again? Because as we know, Sophie has rolled her ankle so many times this season. She has been battling little ankle injuries and she has played through all of them. But then I saw that she grabbed her shin. So I'm like, okay, did she hit her hard enough to actually...
Fans have seen this movie before, and they know exactly what's happening. The reason lawsuit is trending isn't because people love courtrooms. It's because they're completely out of patience. They've watched Caitlin Clark get hacked, shoved, and bruised with minimal protection. They've seen half the league injured in one season. And now they're watching Sophie, one of the few veterans who actually plays hard and has Clark's back, end up crying on the hardwood because the league refuses to control dangerous players. Here's where it gets really ugly. Sophie Cunningham's injury wasn't just witnessed by fans. Her own family watched their daughter get taken out by what they see as pure negligence. Sophie's mother and sister both exploded on social media, blasting the WNBA, its officials, and calling out Bria Hartley's history of playing out of control. Her mother didn't hold back, calling Hartley a disgruntled player who's plain mean and plays out of control.
She is so effective down low, and she can get a lot of people involved.
The family isn't just venting emotions. They're building a case. They're pointing out that this was preventable, that Hartley's pattern was well documented, and that the league's failure to control her ultimately destroyed Sophie's season. When your own family is calling out commissioners and demanding accountability, you know the situation has reached a breaking point that extends far beyond basketball.
This is the play that just occurred.
That's like she tries to slide over right there, and Hartley just kind of falls and makes collision with that lower leg.
So what's the logic behind all this lawsuit talk? Here's the brutal truth. If the WNBA can't guarantee basic player safety, then maybe it should be held legally accountable. Fans are saying if refs won't do their jobs and the commissioner won't enforce rules, then why should players keep risking their careers without holding someone responsible? The play shows Hartley sliding over and making collision with Sophie's lower leg, and fans see this as a direct result of league negligence. The referees in this league have become a walking disaster. They miss obvious calls, ignore dangerous fouls, and half the time it feels like they're officiating a completely different sport. Fans are sarcastically saying these refs should be working fast food instead of protecting professional athletes. Yet these are the people trusted with safeguarding players like Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and everyone else who steps on that court. Here's where it gets really damning. Sophie Cunningham's injury wasn't an isolated incident. It's the climax of systematic failure. Fans point out how the WNBA markets physical play as toughness, while allowing that culture to turn into players getting body slammed on fast breaks with refs looking the other way. Now Sophie, the one player who stood tall for Caitlin Clark when nobody else would, is done for the year during her best stretch of professional basketball. Look at the bigger picture. Caitlin Clark missed time with injuries. Sophie Cunningham is finished. Ari McDonald is done. Sydney Colson is out. At this point, fans are asking how this can still be called a professional basketball league. When half your roster is in street clothes by mid-season, that's not bad luck. That's systematic negligence that demands accountability. Here's where Kathy Engelbert comes into the spotlight, and the fans have brutal thoughts about her leadership. They see her as the face of this entire circus. When half your league is injured, refs are incompetent, and players are literally crying on the floor while getting zero protection, that responsibility falls on leadership. Kathy allows this chaos to continue while pretending everything is fine as the product turns into contact sport nobody signed up for. Social media is absolutely on fire, with fans saying Sophie needs to sue not just Bria Hartley, but the league itself. They want her to go after Engelbert, claim negligence, and force the WNBA to admit they failed to protect their players. The comments are savage. People posting clips of Sophie getting targeted, Caitlin Clark being shoved, highlight reels of dirty fouls that went completely unpunished. The narrative is crystal clear. This league is failing its players, and someone needs to pay. Let's talk about what a lawsuit would actually accomplish. Fans believe that if Sophie sued the WNBA, it would finally force the league to fix its broken officiating system. It would make Engelbert stop coasting and actually enforce rules that protect players. Most importantly, it would send a message that you can't keep ignoring dangerous play without serious consequences. The WNBA would probably claim Sophie knew the risks, that injuries happen in all sports, that refs can't catch everything. But nobody's buying that excuse anymore when the same dirty players are out there every week pulling hair, dragging players to the floor, and throwing elbows like it's mixed martial arts. The sarcasm from fans is absolutely wild. People saying maybe Sophie should hire the same lawyers that sued the NFL for concussions. Others demanding that refs be subpoenaed to explain what game they're actually watching. Now let's step back and look at Sophie Cunningham herself. She's not just some random role player. She brought intensity to Indiana, knocked down crucial shots, scrapped on defense, and energized the team in ways that don't show up in box scores. More importantly, she protected Caitlin Clark when Clark was being shoved around, giving the Fever the edge they desperately needed. And now, she's gone. Done. Season over. The Fever can't replace what she brought. They already went through Ari McDonald's injury, Sydney Colson's ACL tear, and other setbacks that make Indiana look less like a basketball team and more like a medical drama. When fans say lawsuit, It's because they're exhausted from watching players drop like flies while the WNBA brushes it off as bad luck and Engelbert pretends the refs are doing their best. Here's the uncomfortable truth that should terrify the WNBA leadership. Fans honestly believe lawyers in a courtroom would protect Sophie Cunningham better than 3 referees standing 10 feet away from her on a basketball court. Think about how damning that statement is. People trust the legal system more than they trust WNBA officials to maintain basic safety standards. The league loves to market its toughness, but toughness without safety is just recklessness. And that recklessness is what got Sophie Cunningham carried off the court with a season-ending injury. Whether she actually pursues legal action or not, the fact that fans are demanding it tells you everything about where this league stands right now. Nobody trusts the WNBA to protect its players. Nobody trusts the refs to call fair games. And nobody trusts Engelbert to clean up this mess. Sophie Cunningham's devastating injury has fans demanding the nuclear option, lawsuits against the entire WNBA system. Whether or not she actually takes that path, the fact that people are calling for it should absolutely terrify league leadership. The WNBA is losing fan trust at record speed, and Sophie's case has become the tipping point that's exposing years of negligence, poor officiating, and systematic failure to protect players.